Now let's take you back to the comments by the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, in which he criticized the expenses from the country's foreign reserves undertaken by the last administration. Vice President Osinbajo described as mind-boggling the speed with which a foreign reserve of about $30 billion was depleted in so short a time.
The truth of the matter, I came into government with what I thought was a fairly clear notion of the extent of corruption. But it's impossible for you to understand how deep this issue is. And just look at scale. You have 30 billion US dollars in your reserve. Just probing the military expenditure alone in a period of 4 years, almost $15 billion is unaccounted for. Now that's almost half of your reserve. There's nowhere in the world where that happens. And somebody just says, well, by now we should have forgotten about that. This is money. This is money that's supposed to have been used for infrastructure. There is you can't point to any major infrastructural achievement. When oil was at $100 to $115 a barrel, you can't point to a single major infrastructural project. Where is it? All of that money somehow disappeared. And when that happens, it is then the business of the government that comes to not only account for all of that in terms of deficits in infrastructure, deficits in everything. Look at salaries in the States. Oil was going at $100 to $115. When we got into office, 2/3 of the states were owing salaries 6 months and over. 2/3 of the states. Now, if you have that kind of situation, you are bound to then begin to look at bailouts, justice we've done, loans, and see how you can support the states. Because the federal government only has this territory called Abuja. The rest of Nigeria is the Federation of Nigeria.
In Bayelsa State, at least 13 people are reported to have been infected with monkeypox disease in the Fengbe area of Yenagoa. 49 others who had contact with those infected are still under observation. The outbreak has been confirmed by the authorities, and the State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Pt.2, has advised residents to remain calm as the disease is being properly controlled.
I've mobilized both international, national, and state authorities to ensure that we contain this outbreak. And for now, what we have done is that at the international level, WHO is coordinating. At the national level, we have the Nigerian Center for Disease Control. And then at the state level, we have our Ministry of Health, specifically the epidemiology unit under the Directorate of Public Health. So we have been able to create, an isolation ward at the Niger Delta University Teaching Hospital where the patients are presently being treated. And we are also following up the 49 line cases that who have been in contact with these patients. I know that there are more people, and they might be in hiding because of stigmatization and fear, But I want to use this medium to appeal to Bayelsans that there is no need to panic, that the situation is under control.
So what exactly is monkeypox, which is now being discovered to have infected quite a number of people in Yenagoa, the capital of Bayelsa State? Our next report gives some insight into the nature of this ailment. Would like to warn, however, that some of the pictures may be found disturbing.
Monkeypox is a viral disease caused by infections from infected monkeys, rats, and squirrels. Human monkeypox infection was first discovered in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where it is now considered to be endemic. It is more common in rural rainforest areas of Central and West Africa. It usually takes 6 to 16 days for symptoms to show after an infection, which between humans is typically by droplet or close contact with other body fluids. Early symptoms include fever, serious headaches, back pain, muscle aches, and lethargy. Later on, a characteristic rash usually starts on the face and may spread to the palms and soles of the feet. Monkeypox is milder than smallpox, which was eradicated globally in 1980. It has a case fatality of 1%. There is no cure or vaccine for monkeypox, but those previously immunized against smallpox tend to have milder infections. Other preventive measures include putting active cases in quarantine, avoiding infected animals, and washing hands after caring for infected people or touching any surface on which the virus is suspected to have been deposited. Treatment is symptomatic until the virus has run its course. Healthcare workers must observe standard precaution and infection control measures.
We have had some training, education and training programs on infection prevention and control, and also to build the knowledge of our healthcare workers on what monkeypox is and how it is transmitted. All the patients we have managed, and we have seen so far, none has died. And they are doing well. Most of the adults have self-limiting infections.
2 patients of the infected company in Yenagoa have been discharged with a clean bill of health. Mary Alale Yusuf, Channels Television News.
So let's get some further insight into this rather rare disease. I'm now being joined on the News at 10 by the Chief Executive of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, Dr. Chikwe Ihekazu. You're welcome to the News at 10.
Hi, Lade. Great to join you this evening.
Now, what can you tell us about this monkeypox disease? There are people who have already started comparing it to Ebola. Is there any truth in that?
No, I think that's slightly exaggerated. This is a fairly rare virus. There was a warning in the story your colleagues showed that, to be aware of the pictures. The truth is the disease looks a lot worse than it actually is. It causes a rash, and because that rash appears on the face and palms and is very visible, it looks quite disturbing, especially because it does look like smallpox, and smallpox does put up a lot of fear in people. However, this is a largely self-limiting disease. It's a zoonotic disease, which means it's transmitted generally from animals to humans fairly rarely. The last cluster of cases in Nigeria was reported in the 70s, 75, 78. So by and large, we expect the patients to recover. And, like you would have heard in that report in Bayelsa State, and the state has done very well. Most patients would recover from appropriate care and management, symptomatic management, as is being done. So, and some of them haven't actually required hospitalization at all. So I think the comparison to Ebola is fairly far-fetched, but however, it does show that, we have this battle against infectious disease, an ongoing one, and if nothing else has happened post-Ebola, it's raised our awareness about the need to battle infectious diseases and to come together as a community to do that collectively.
Now, let me jump in here and ask, what specifically is being done? Because in your response, you mentioned that it's been transmitted, it could be transmitted, although rarely, from animals to humans. And that's how humans get it mostly. Now, what's being done specifically in Bayelsa State? What can you tell us about what's happening in Bayelsa State with a view to containing this and stopping its possible spread to other neighboring states and possibly further?
Yeah, so the one similarity it does have with Ebola, actually, is that once it then gets into humans, there's a chance for person-to-person transmission. However, the likelihood is fairly limited. So in this particular case, we have actually 2 clusters. 6 of the cases belong to one. There's a second cluster, and the third is one healthcare worker that's affected. Once you see a healthcare worker affected, it tells you, listen, there's likely to be person-to-person transmission happening, and the most important thing is to limit that. So within hospital care settings, like we've always said in the last 2 years, since post-Ebola, is to use universal precaution. So I think the era of doctors managing cases without gloves, without gowns is really gone. We don't want to wait for a case of monkeypox or Ebola, because no patient comes in with that risk. on his forehead. So what is happening, and our key advice to all healthcare workers, is always to observe universal health precautions. However, in family settings, the key thing is do report to a healthcare facility once you have a case. Don't try self-medication. Take your take your family members to hospital. Don't try and manage them yourselves. Once they get there, especially in Bayelsa State at the moment, the state is very sensitized to the outbreak, is doing all the right things. And the key thing is that patients should be brought into hospital quickly. Once they are brought into hospital, especially at the Niger Delta Teaching Hospital, they know what to do and they'll take care of the patients.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chikwe Ihekwazu, for joining us on the News at 10. The ruling All Progressives Congress today gained 2 more seats in the House of Representatives as the defection of 2 lawmakers from the opposition PDP was announced by the Speaker of the House of Representatives. With details of this and other stories, here is Malkwe Ogun from our Abuja studios. Hi, Malkwe.
Oh yes, Ladi, you did say that the ruling All Progressives Congress today gained 2 more seats in the House of Representatives as the defection of 2 lawmakers from the opposition People's Democratic Party was announced by the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Representative Bitrus Gisalo, representing Amak Buhari Federal Constituency in the Federal Capital Territory, and Representative Yusuf Ahmed Tijani, representing Okene Ogori Magogo Federal Constituency of Kogi State, referred to a division in the PDP as a reason for their defection. The minority leader of the House, Representative Yakubu Barde, raised the point of order, citing Section 68 of the Constitution and demanding that the defected members vacate their seats.
Mr. Speaker, we are all aware today. Mr. Speaker, we are aware PDP is one, and there is no division in PDP. But Mr. Speaker, because we believe in the rule of law, this matter shall be taken to court. And I hope these honorable members will be ready to come and defend themselves. But we are not going to allow it to lie down. We are going to take it to court, and both of them must vacate their seat because the judiciary is just, and we believe the judiciary shall do justice to us. Mr. Speaker, I so observe
is that division in a political party is a question of facts and no question of law. And facts will vary according to circumstances of the case. The circumstances that may lead to Zephaniah or Tija's defection may not be the same in the case of the other case that you referred us to. So we'll now allow the judiciary to do their work, examine the situation, and tell us whether there was division or not, and then we can enforce their decision, please. So let's not belabor this issue. That's my ruling.